All right, back to it. We're learning about gerrymandering and what's going on, guys. It's super important stuff. And like I said, I think this is actually going to go through with the gerrymandering. Like I was saying, the only gerrymandering that was found deemed to be unconstitutional is ones that have it's like racial gerrymandering. As far as partisan gerrymandering goes, the Supreme Court has ruled that it's a political aspect. It doesn't have to do with the Supreme Court. They're not going to touch it with a 10-foot pole. And it will impact minority voting rights. So the Democrats probably have a very good case in court to stop this from happening. There's a lot going on with that. So there was, like I was saying before, there's cases of racial gerrymandering that were deemed unconstitutional, and then there was cases that were partisan issues that were deemed to be political, and the Supreme Court would not pick it up. That means the cases will get shot back down to the state and the state's constitution, which, you know, are all state judges fair? Probably not. Do they have a chance? Do Democrats have a really good chance? Probably. But we'll have to see where it plays out. There will be lawsuits in this. There will be lawsuits. Democrats fled Texas. Gavin Newsom's in the ring now. He's fighting back. A lot going on. So let's learn together, because I am not an expert on this, but we will be by the time we're done.
Everyday prices for regular Texans skyrocketing. They are afraid of the next election cycle, which is why they are now trying to go even further to steal 5 more seats. So no, both sides don't play this game. But while Texas is now saying we're going to go even further in the cheat, I am grateful other Democratic states are stepping up and saying what's good for the goose is good for the gander. And so ultimately, the people should say, hey, why don't you all do what Democratic states do? Let the people draw your lines and compete on fair ideas. That's what we want. That's what I would love to see. We can't get Republicans to agree to it, so it really is up to the people of not only Texas, but the nation to say, give us back our power.
So the big points of that is they are targeting black districts. They are targeting Jasmine Crockett and Al Green's districts in this. Here is the remapping. This is what the remapping looks like. This is what they want for the representation of the state of Texas in Congress. I wish I had a sus button, but this does not seem accurate to me. Does it seem accurate to anybody else? And they're not even hiding it. We just heard Ted Cruz. Yeah, we're probably going to lose the midterm, so this is good for Texas and good for us and our representation of the people of Texas and the United States and all the job growth that's happened under Trump. With 75,000 jobs lost this last quarter. So there's a lot going on here. You know, and like I said, Democrats have a good chance. Racial gerrymandering is a thing. There's many cases of racial gerrymandering that have happened. Supreme Court ruled, and it was Shaw versus Reno, 1993, Miller versus Johnson, 95, Cooper versus Harris, 2017, that they were based off of race, and they were shut down. They couldn't do it. Partisan gerrymandering that have won, Rucho versus Common Cause, 2019. So that was, they said it was partisan. It had nothing to do with race, and it didn't go in the favor. So, like I said, it really does depend on to the courts about this. But kudos to the Democrats for standing up and fleeing the vote, and shame on the Republicans for pretty much saying they're going to come send the feds after them and pick them up and send them back, or have them arrested. And then there was threats involved. It's getting ugly, but that's part of the consequences behind this. This is inflammatory. Either way, this will have repercussions to where it creates more of a polarization between people and our representatives. So let's learn more. Let's get into some clips. Maybe we can get some more information here.
I oppose this mid-census redistricting plan.
This is in Texas.
Targeting black and brown districts to accomplish Trump's goal of gaining 5 new seats. I oppose racial gerrymandering and any cracking and packing that will surely be the center of this effort. Texans do not want or need this. California and other Democratic-led states have vowed to redistrict in such a way as to neutralize any Republican seats that might be gained. So what is the point? Why set a precedent that redistricting can occur whenever any leader in power says so on a whim? Tarrant County is already spending taxpayer dollars to defend an illegal racial gerrymandering lawsuit of which county commission passage of illegally racially gerrymandered bills will result in the same fate at the state level. As I close, it is you, state legislators, who will suffer the biggest fallout. Congressional seats might be gained, but many more of you will lose yours. I oppose this meeting.
All right, a couple more clips I got saved here. Some good stuff. People speaking out against it.
I'm here and I'm kind of, respectfully, Mr. Chair, it's ironic and kind of sad to me that we're here. Because I've watched 2 hearings already where your colleagues have asked you about the existence of this committee. And you simply passed the buck and said, because there's a letter, this is what we have to do. And you said this morning, or at the start of this meeting, that we had to follow the rules. Your response to the governor when he put this on the agenda should have been 4 words, because this is Texas, right? This is the land of Six Flags. This is the land of Whataburger. This is the land of Shinerbach. You should have said 4 words to the governor: don't mess with Texas. And your answer to the Department of Justice, instead of asking the Department of Justice to come testify, your answer to the Department of Justice should have been 4 words about our maps. Come and take them. So I hope you'll do as others have said here and simply do nothing until the 2030 census, and then we'll get to the business of the people. Thank you.
So plenty of people speaking out against it.
I want to make sure that this gets a little bit of attention. So is it your contention that this legislature being called in an emergency session should focus on the emergency at hand? Well, families are still suffering, and we're up here with this political charade.
So nothing for the flood victims, but we're going to talk about redistricting because Orange Man said so.
The second thing that you brought up was about how Texas is already a gerrymandered state. Are you aware that every redistricting by this legislature for the past 30 years has ended up in federal court? And did you also know that we literally we are awaiting the decision on a current court case for the 2021 redistricting? You just heard that trial in El Paso, is that right? Yes. Here's a fun fact.
That doesn't make me very confident that they're just hearing that case and it's 2025.
Everyone in the room. The last time...
Hey, by the way, you guys were wrong. You shouldn't have done that, but oh well.
Texas redistricted outside of the census was 2003. And those maps were struck down by the United States Supreme Court as being unconstitutional. I want to thank you for highlighting those issues. Thanks for coming here today.
Yeah, this is crazy. Many are saying this is the 911. This is the biggest deal of our time right now. This is going to decide the future of our nation, and I'm leaning that way. I'm agreeing. So the impact of this, I think, I don't think a lot of people understand how important it is, unfortunately.
See who you are, and we see what you're doing. You're shameless, power-hungry bootlickers for
Damn.
Representative Guerin, to you specifically, you rolled on vouchers, and we would really like to see you do better this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day. I love the energy. Thank you. Have a good day. Let him have it. Let him have it.
Correct. Please give us your testimony.
It's asinine that we're here talking about this today when we know the state of Texas has argued in court that the maps drawn after the 2020 census weren't based on race, and yet the DOJ justification is that these maps were drawn based on race. You can't have it make sense unless you are willing to acknowledge that this is nothing more than a step toward authoritarianism.
Yeah.
administration is scared to death that the people won't vote for them in 2026. They needed to find a place led by those who will kiss the ring and do their bidding to carve out a handful of seats. Enter Texas. The administration has embarked on a Christian nationalist agenda to destroy the things that have made this country great. We know that if they have 2 more years controlling all levers of power, our country will be unrecognizable.
Yeah.
That's what they're banking on. Authoritarianism doesn't arrive with trumpets. It creeps in and thrives on our hesitation to speak out, our unwillingness, our willingness to compromise with injustice. You look at this room, we are saying no more. Thank you.
I really hope that they can bring into the court cases the fact that Trump is the one that's pushing for this, the fact that of all the ICE raids they're doing, that they're using unconstitutional tactics, the fact that there's race behind these stops, and the fact that there's clear racism coming from this administration, and base the court case off of that. I'm really hoping that's the direction, that's all admissible, and that's the way it can go. But if not, if they don't win in court, we got this guy who I'm not a huge fan of, but we got him.
I think there's a growing recognition in this country, not just with Democrats.
I'm a bigger fan now.
Republicans, that de facto the Trump presidency ends in November.